Thank you today. I would like to thank you, everyone who's coming today to the Global Summit. We would like to, I'm going to start again. Even I start again. I know that. All right. You know, when I have a talk show, I have everything all down. With the Global Summit, it's always a little different. All right, let's.
Yeah, but it also depends how you feel and everything like this. So please start.
We'll start again. All right, take two. Today, I would like to welcome you to the Blockchain Legal Institute's Global Summit on Blockchain and Sustainability. We are very excited today to have our keynote as a woman who is distinguished in the world of blockchain. She is the Blockchain Technology Coordinator for the Ministry of Economic Development and Technology. She's also a director for a Cultural and Economic Center of European Space Technologies for Slovenia. She's also the head of the unit of social entrepreneurship for the government of the Republic of Slovenia.
And no, you can stop. You can stop. Okay.
Yes.
I will send you my last bio now, so that you can see.
So how about if I do this? I will introduce you as our keynote as being a distinguished woman in the area of blockchain, and then I'll hand it over to you to maybe share.
Okay, because you were taking this from LinkedIn,
yes,
and I haven't closed some positions. So
okay,
you have all of this. Yeah.
Okay, all right, not a problem.
Make an intro, and then I will talk.
So I'll do the intro. I'll hand it over to you, and then we'll start. All right.
Okay.
Take three. All right. Today, I would like to welcome everyone to the Blockchain Legal Institute's Global Summit on Blockchain and Sustainability. Today, we also have a very special keynote speaker who is a woman very distinguished in the area of blockchain and technology. I would like to welcome Nena to our Blockchain Sustainability Summit. And thank you so much for being the keynote today. I know that you are doing so many great things, and I'm going to have you share everything that you're doing within the international community because it covers a whole span of areas. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Jackie, for inviting me. I'm very pleased to be with you today, and also I'm pleased to see that distinguished people attending the conference. So I hope that I will try to highlight some important points. What is going on within the blockchain technology, but also within the other technologies in Europe and globally. But maybe let me first a little bit introduce myself. Yeah, I work at the Ministry of Economy. I'm the coordinator of the digital transformation strategy. Actually, it means a little bit more than blockchain technology by itself. It covers all the advanced digital technologies like AI, cloud computing, platforms, digital twins, and Web3 technologies, for example. Yeah. I'm also a representative of our ministry and of Slovenia in the members of assembly of the first European or the first global institution for blockchain. It's called Europeum. You will hear about this definitely. I was previously 5 years now a member in the national representative of European Blockchain Partnership. Here in Europe, we had quite interesting network together with the European Commission and the member states, taking care of the development of European blockchain services infrastructure, but also the use cases that were developed through those 5-6 years. I'm also a vice chair of INADBA, International Association for Trusted Based blockchain organization. So this is international, and I'm a co-chair of Government Advisory Board. I'm also a coordinator of the for Slovenia, for example, of important projects of common European interest. And I'm also a head of delegation of the UNCE, so United Nations Economic Commission for Europe. Those are some points that I want to highlight. And yeah, I was really a director of the European Space Center here in Slovenia, and many more things that are coming spontaneously and are in the scope of my work. So that would be my short presentation.
Not so short. You have really, you know, throughout your professional career, you've distinguished yourself and been a mentor as well as a leader, both locally within your country as well as within the global community. So we're really excited to have your insights to kick off our global summit. And I know that one of the questions that we talked about that you are providing some insight of, in light of the recent breakthroughs with climate tech and the growing momentum behind initiatives such as that, how can we leverage the diverse expertise of governments and companies to actually craft groundbreaking solutions to truly address the climate crisis that we might be seeing?
Yeah, thank you for your question. I think that either governments or societies as such and the companies are very aware that technology plays a very important role within the achievement of sustainability and sustainable development. We are all aware of the term of the twin transition. So we are talking about digital transition on one hand and the green transition on the other hand. So we can also say that advanced digital technologies are really enabler of that green transition on the way to sustainability. Speaking about advanced digital technologies, we may take into account not only blockchain and AI, but also IoT or industrial Internet of Things, big data, cloud computing. It's very important. Now we have a kind of movement for better connectivity to cover decentralized digital access to the data from the location of the companies. Web3 technologies are coming, which are very important, like XR, virtual reality, metaverse. But in the industrial processes, also additive manufacturing. So each of them and the combination or convergence of those technologies gives us the ability not only to ensure more efficient green transition, but to achieve that sustainability that helps to climate change and diminishes somehow climate impact. For Europe, I can tell you we have a lot of programs and projects that are covering the topic of sustainable or green transition. So, for example, Horizon Europe, Digital Europe program, and Innovation Fund. For example, Innovation Fund is one of the instruments where the money from credit, carbon credits from emissions of the carbon is collected within the fund and then is channelized into innovative projects of green and digital transition. So it's very good revolving mechanism, and definitely those innovative approaches support also green transition and go towards sustainability. Here in blockchain, I have to mention one project on the traceability, which we have on the European level. It is very important to have more countries and also more companies included in the those kind of projects. So we started to develop it 2 years ago. It is on the traceability of data and documents on one hand, and definitely on products and materials on the other hand. So we are trying to ensure this is relevant for blockchain. But now, when we are coming to AI, when we are coming to the importance of data, when we are coming to the solutions within AI infrastructure and the models of AI, here the convergence of AI, it's a very big contribution to blockchain solutions. In I mentioned also that important projects of common European interest. We are addressing somehow 4 areas that are very important for green transition. We are developing beyond state-of-the-art solutions on hydrogen, on microelectronics, on the cloud and edge computing, batteries, this is a really good contribution to a smart and sustainable transition for more resilient, more competitive economy. So and here maybe just to mention, we also within INADBA we prepared the report on convergence of blockchain and AI, showcasing how blockchain solves the issues of AI. So this trust-based data collection, the encryption of data, the accuracy of the data, the keeping data from the originality and tracking the data through the system. But on the other hand, AI can help to collect that data, to structure, to use for different purposes. This would be the answer.
Amazing, just amazing information. I know that you might have covered some of this, but what other rise of innovative partnerships are you seeing that, especially with the various environmental projects and focus that is happening around the globe? And how do we unite these sectors, from the finance to the grassroots movements to drive these changes that we need for our planet?
Yeah, actually, the story we covered under COP28, and it was very interesting because in the framework of COP28 in Dubai, we somehow organized a conference. It was quite strong conference, 3 days, 4 days, I think, and we addressed 5 topics that can somehow bring into life the importance of the technology for green transition.
Mm-hmm.
We identified the following sectors: energy efficiency, for example, either carbon credits or green management or energy management within the companies and the houses. Then smart mobility, it's very important factor. We know that we have now electric cars, but on the other hand, we have cars with the content working also for the society and detecting the how the people in the society feel, move, how they function, and so on. Then we covered circular economy. Here also is very important that traceability of products and materials. We had special focus on circular construction. We know that the construction sector is one of the biggest polluter, and digital technologies can help very much to either within the materials and the process of the construction to put less burden on the environment. Then if we talk about smart cities and communities, right? we have many topics here to cover, and all of them can be connected via those sectors or industrial verticals I just mentioned. About green finance, Slovenia was the first country globally launching green digital bond. It was in July now, yeah, this year. And what I have to say is that also Europe has adopted the whole package of the legislation on this green finance, on do no significant harm principle, so impact on environment, and ESG reporting. ESG reporting is becoming very important for financial institutions to make the conditions for I don't know, for the companies that are taking the loans, that they fulfill conditions for ESG reporting. We have listed companies that need to include ESG reporting into their annual reports, and this is everything very connected. So if we put together these solutions coming out from the technology and the solutions coming out from the green finance and the taxonomy within green financing, then we have the whole ecosystem somehow covered, and also visible for the companies and the society.
And you have definitely been at the forefront of all of these transitions and these trends.
Yeah.
As we witness the increasing intersection of artificial intelligence and environmental policy, there's been many debates about carbon credits and digital currency. What messages would you like to share, for those that might be within this global movement, as well as those that are just stepping into this space, especially as we are looking at other countries that also need support and need to also have this technology and the development?
Yes, exactly. For the environmental policy, we all know that we have Green Deal in Europe. There are some other initiatives on the global level. The first thing I think is rising awareness, right? The second thing is knowing what are the advanced technologies and what benefits can we have from them. For example, what is the role of AI in the environmental policy? People need to be aware, or companies need to be aware, that AI role is primarily to detect, somehow to collect, to structure the data that we receive in the processes within the industrial value chains. There are many possibilities to deploy various models of AI for different purposes. I already explained first, collecting the data from geolocations, for example, can mean valuable input for not only for pricing, okay, but also for forecasting the climate changes as well. We are aware of DMRW. This is digital monitoring, recording, and verification. It's very useful tool for tracking the data again for environmental purposes. It enables us to have the data with a very high accuracy and trusted based orientations that can be adopted after that. For carbon credits, for example, are very efficient means for the recognition of the amount of the emissions, enabling emitters to either control or reduce the emissions. For example, they can integrate new technologies into their business processes. But on the other hand, they have local societies within their territories, so they are first neighbors, and there can be also the means for incentivization of that local communities to create also more collaborative and more inclusive communities, taking them into account. Synergies about the technologies are existing. We need to be aware, and we need to somehow also showcase the spillover effect. The spillover effect can be seen, needs to be seen, or the replicating from one innovative solution to others. For example, I have to tell that we within UNC FACT, right? We developed the white paper on UNC FACT chain. So what does it mean? It means that we on the European level are developing European blockchain service infrastructure. So it is based on nodes. Nodes are interoperable and information can be accessible at the moment in the real time, right? Okay, within the UN action, we went a little bit on. Even the cross-border, we somehow studied legal, technical, and governance interoperability, and we saw that within the technical, here we have a bit the most clear situation, because the standards, technical standards, are developed with some level of certainty on the global level. The biggest issue is the legislatory environment. So legislation can be the issue. And the governance, we have perfect governance within blockchain technology, like decentralized autonomous organizations, which are also some part of Web3 concept that we want to develop.
So, as you were talking, I just kept thinking about all the layers that you've been sharing. And I know at today's conference, we have 6 panels, and they span from ecotech to the green finance to the last panel dealing with governments. And we have speakers who are from every continent around the world, and from CEOs to those within government like yourself. But in the context of the governments, especially those that are using it, or even those that need to be thinking about using it, how do we increase the adoption of blockchain for the transparency that you talked about? And what steps do you see to promote equitable access and accountability, especially as it relates to environmental decisions? Because you mentioned the supply chain, and we're living in a world where products might be grown in one community and then moved to another community, and throughout that supply chain there are touch points. And I know that each of these can be related onto the blockchain, but how do we make sure that the countries that are not always financially able can also step into this space, and that companies actually support this transition?
Yes, and it's good. It's good because we can take the sample from the companies. We can see it as a role model, how the companies, especially large companies, how to start to deal with this. Maybe I will tell you how I met blockchain, right? I liked very much one study which was explaining social value proposition. And even if governments do not have the money for finance it, we probably need some public services on blockchain, but not necessary. We need to prove that the technology is working, that is functioning, that what character of the technology is. And when I first heard about the technology, I was very surprised, and how social value proposition has that technology, right? The values are inherent within the technology, like democratic character of the technology, like transparency, like trust, like authentication, authorization. But in any case, we need to somehow showcase what are the social benefits from that technology. So as you know, the governments are more oriented into the social benefits. So if we bring this to the table, and if we explain to the governments, okay, today you have the technology that does not need to be in the country to be accessible for the society in the country, for the communities in the country. So with that interoperability, if you want, we have the technology, satellite navigation systems that are collecting the data and bring the data to the places where no internet connections are.
Yes.
We have unchained and the unbanked people that are doing financial businesses without being connected to internet. So it's important that either companies, either societies, either the governments are aware that technologies are existing and that they are developing. It's not always about the money, it is about the values. So let's go for the values and keep the money a little bit behind.
I appreciate what you're saying. Any last minute thoughts that you want to share with those that are streaming for our global summit, and also for the those that might be watching this after the summit happens? Any last minute thoughts that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I appreciate very much your efforts, how to engage the communities, how to spread the knowledge, how to put some technologies in front of the environmental, but also social and the governance perspective. As you are legal institute, you are perfectly aware of what are the legal constraints within the implementation of specific type of technologies globally. But I think that if we join forces together and if we are positive towards the advanced technologies, and we know what is the impact of those technologies into climate change, into environmental topics, into the social area, then I think that we are on the right way to achieve better results in the future.
I agree with you. And I know that this is definitely a collaborative effort and a multidisciplinary effort, and that no one can do it by themselves. It definitely is a team.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. Thank
So
you very much.
thank you so much for being our keynote today. I'm very honored to have connected with you on social media, and then, through our conversations, and I look forward to future conversations. For everyone who's watching, let's go next to our live panels, and thank you so much for being here, and stay tuned. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.